All right, we also have Boria Mazumdar joining us right here. Boria, over to you. You keep saying that we are a lucky combination. That's what Rahul said as well. And I'd love to believe that this time too, India is looking at a victory. Now, more importantly, Boria, here is England's captain who's been ruled out from the series, Eoin Morgan. What does that really mean now for India and its chances to victory?
Firstly, you said about lucky combination. Let me put this on record. We will ensure that you are anchoring when the World Test Championship is on and when the World Cup happens. So no question.
Thank you, Boria.
Coming to Eoin Morgan, yes. I mean, he's a very important player in the England corps. Because if you see, he's captain cool. He's really good. As a batsman, he takes charge at number 4, 5, closes an innings. All of a sudden, what has happened compared to the first game is India go in as favourites. Despite England being world champion, the way India came back, losing the toss, all of a sudden 100+ runs by England in 10 overs, even then you turn it around. In every sense, India now has that opportunity to close out the series. So I think because of Morgan, because of the form that India are in, and despite Shreyas not being there, others are available. I would say India start as favourites.
Right. Boria, I'm going to toss this right across to Rahul Rawat as well, who's been observing the match. Rahul, over to you. You've been following this up quite keenly, and you're saying the chances for victory for India is quite strong.
Absolutely, and you spoke about lucky charm. Something else also has happened. For the 4th time in a row, India have lost the toss. England have won the toss and they've elected to field. But that has happened in the past few matches. That has been happening, in fact. And every time that happens, India go on to win this.
All right, so we're hoping the same winning streak continues them.
Absolutely. So England have won the toss and they have elected to field first. Eoin Morgan, as we mentioned earlier, has been ruled out because of a split webbing. They've handed a maiden ODI cap to Liam Livingstone, a hard-hitting batsman. So you'll have to see what exactly is India's playing 11, because there are a lot of options as Shreyas Iyer has also been ruled out after he injured his shoulder. Unfortunately, he'll be out of action for quite some time because he may have to undergo a surgery. Boria, another lucky charm, or you think doesn't matter? Toss doesn't matter as far as this Indian team is concerned. They can win any match from any situation, as we've seen in the last few matches.
Absolutely right. I mean, toss doesn't matter for this team because you've seen that in Australia. We've seen that against England in this particular tour. India doesn't depend on the toss, and you've proved it. And you mentioned about Shreyas. Just let me sort of give our viewers the news. He will probably be operated upon. Surgery will happen on 8th of April, Rahul, and he will be out for at least about 5 months or so. So the earliest I expect Shreyas back will be in September when we play 2 T20 series going into the World Cup. That's the update on Shreyas. But to answer your question blunt, India doesn't depend on the toss, bat first, bowl first. They've taken that out of the equation. They're taking conditions out of the equation, which is the hallmark of this team.
Well, that's right. In fact, we've also got Harbhajan Singh, one of India's finest spinners. Baju, are we winning this match? Are we going to seal this series today itself?
Yes, Rahul, I feel India will be winning today. And of course, from the last game, confidence will be really, really high. So I'm backing Team India to win today as well and seal the series.
All right, so we've also got India's playing 11. Rohit Sharma is fit and is going to open with Shikhar Dhawan, who is back in form after he scored that magnificent 98. Unfortunate to miss that 100. But besides him, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, of course, is going to lead this team. Rishabh Pant has been drafted in as a replacement for Shreyas Iyer. Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Shardul Thakur, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Kuldeep Yadav, Prasidh Krishna. So Kuldeep Yadav gets another game despite a lackluster performance in the first game. Boria, right decision to back Kuldeep Yadav. He just had one game in this after a long time and couldn't perform that well. But still, the team management has gone in with Kuldeep Yadav.
Good call, very good call. In fact, that's how you empower your cricketers, because one bad game doesn't mean much. He's been around this team in Australia, did not get a single game. Thereafter, also the opportunities have been few and far between. Very good call. Give him a go. Give him a couple of games, 2-3 games, and you won. It's not as if the dagger is hanging that you've lost. So give him this game so that he gets back into form. He's an important cricketer. Left arm wrist spin is still a very rare art, and you've got a good cricketer who bowls left arm wrist spin. So empower him. I'm also quite pleased to see Rishabh Pant. I mean, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, both top cricketers, but Rishabh Pant on his own, given the kind of batting form, can win you a cricket game as a batsman as well. So they've given Rishabh Pant, and importantly, there are two left-handers. So Rohit, Shikhar, Virat, one there, and then Rishabh Pant, and then Krunal Pandya. So there will always be this left-right combination going, Rahul, which will disrupt England's bowling pattern. That's also another reason for going to Rishabh Pant. And as I had broken on Sports Today, day before yesterday night itself, after I spoke to Rohit, he was fine. He was fine. There was never any apprehension about Rohit Sharma playing.
Boria, one quick question. Who's going to keep the wickets? KL Rahul or Rishabh Pant?
No, that's an important one. I would still go with KL Rahul, because if you are backing KL in the 50-over format as keeper, there's nothing that KL has done wrong. Now, suppose Shreyas is fit today. Who do you go to? You go to Shreyas, right? So in that sense, KL is your keeper for this format. If you go to Rishabh, it's okay, because obviously he's a top cricketer and a top wicket keeper as well. But frankly, it doesn't matter. Again, you've got like-for-like replacements. You've got multiple players for one spot. This is the best Indian kind of group that I've seen for years and months, and perhaps the best phase in Indian cricket that you and I have seen in the last decade. So it's an incredibly good unit, and I'm very, very keen to see how Rishabh Pant goes in the 50-over format.
All right, so let me just repeat it once again. England have won the toss and they've elected to field first. India have made just one change. Injured Shreyas Iyer has been replaced with Rishabh Pant. Kuldeep Yadav retains his place, so there's no place for Surya Kumar Yadav. Team India has gone in with some stability and consistency. Just one replacement. An injured player goes out and an informed Rishabh Pant comes in. Rohit Sharma is fit to play. He's going to open with Shikhar Dhawan. Bajuba, I'll come to you. We've spoken about the injuries in the Indian camp, but as far as England is concerned, Eoin Morgan, of course, you're going to play with him in the IPL. Now you've moved to Kolkata Knight Riders. Are you concerned that he's not going to be here and also with KKR?
No, I'm not worried about whether Morgan will be available for the season or not, because as far as I know, he'll be available for the IPL, and he's a very, very good guy and a great leader. He's won World Cup for Team England, and I'm hoping that he'll be fit for the IPL. But yes, England will miss his services today. He's been one of those leaders who lead from the front. And yes, he hasn't had that, that kind of a series with the bat as yet in India. But, Team England will definitely miss him on the field, with his captainship. As far as I am concerned, I think I'll still get to play with him in the IPL.
And Bajuba, you must be mighty pleased with the fact the way the youngsters have performed. Every time a youngster gets an opportunity, he makes his mark, he leaves a lasting impression, be it Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav. Last game we saw Krunal Pandya doing it with the bat, and then Prasidh Krishna.
Well, it's a season of the debutants. I feel, whoever is coming in, they are performing really well. And, credit to the team management, how they handle these youngsters. And to be honest, I must give credit to the BCCI also and the IPL franchisees, because, these are the products of IPL. If we talk about Surya Kumar Yadav, Kishan, Prasidh, they have done really well for their respective teams, and they have played at that level with that sort of competition, with that sort of pressure. So they have seen that already. They have gone through already. Yes, playing for India is the biggest thing, but good thing is about these players: Kunal Pandya, Surya Kumar Yadav, Prasidh, Kishan. People, they have made their debut. They are not worried about their places. They are not worried about what will happen. They just want to go out there and play their game and show what they are made of. And well done to Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli and everyone in the team management for giving that space to them, for them to just go out there and showcase their talent.
Well, absolutely, they've shown a fearless brand of cricket. Well, debuts are only getting better and better. We saw it in the T20 series when Ishan Kishan played that magnificent knock, and then Surya Kumar Yadav followed it up with another brilliant knock in the T20 series, and in the last game it was Krunal Pandya and Prasidh Krishna, the way they performed. Well, it was an emotional moment for Krunal Pandya and Prasidh Krishna. After that beating, that hammering in the first spell, he came back really well to win that match for India.
For India, it's been a season of debuts. Be it Ishan Kishan or Surya Kumar Yadav, every debutant has done his bit to justify his selection. In the first ODI against England, it was Krunal Pandya who left his mark in his maiden ODI appearance. And when England were going all guns blazing with the bat, it was another young debutant, Prasidh Krishna, who turned things around. It was an emotional moment for the left-handed all-rounder, and he had his brother Hardik alongside him to share that moment. Krunal came out to bat with India in some sort of trouble, having lost 5 wickets and not too many runs on the board in the 41st over.
Oh my word, again played on
the left-hander, who had a great season for Baroda in the recently concluded Vijay Hazare Trophy, continued his rich vein of form and scored a 27-ball half-century, the fastest by a batsman on debut in ODIs. After his unbeaten 58, Krunal was at loss for words, remembering his late father who passed away only in January.
This one it was for my dad actually. Yeah, it was again emotional moment. Sorry. Sorry, yeah.
out of the strike.
Prasidh Krishna went for 37 in his first spell of 3 overs, but he came back strongly to trigger a collapse for England that eventually led India to victory.
Who wants it?
His figures of 4 for 54 are the best bowling performance by an Indian on ODI debut.
Indian bowlers have taken 3 wickets. Strong shot.
It's been a story of debuts for India lately, with T20 World Cup on everyone's mind, and with their performances, Krunal Pandya and Prasidh Krishna may well have thrown their hat in the ring. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Well, Boria, Virat Kohli last time, in fact, in the last match, post-match presentation ceremony, he mentioned that for every sport, India has reinforcements. With the likes of Shreyas Iyer, if he gets injured, you have Surya Kumar Yadav, you have Rishabh Pant. That speaks volumes about the bench strength. So they are not well prepared for the T20 World Cup later this year and next year as well, and again for the 2023 World Cup. So they are not going to make the same mistake that they made in 2019 and are well prepared for the reinforcements.
Yeah, that's a conscious call. I mean, that's what the lesson is. I mean, if you do not learn from your mistakes, then how are you a good team or a great team? And they've done that. I mean, I think Indian cricket is at its peak, and a welcome peak here, not a COVID. So they are at their peak. They're dominating world cricket in the test match format. They're in the finals. If you see, they've beaten the world's best team in the T20 format. Now they're on the verge of a series win in the 50-over format against the world's #1 team and the world champion team. So how good they are. And yes, I mean, you know, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, who's back there, Prithvi Shaw, Devdutt Padikkal, 400s in the domestics. Virat Kohli, unparalleled, unrivaled cricketer. Then you have Surya, Rishabh, Shreyas, Manish, all of them hovering around in that middle order space. Then you have Krunal. Then you have, again, for Ravindra Jadeja, you have Krunal, you have Akshar. So you have multiple cricketers who are right there. You have in Washington with Ravichandran Ashwin sitting out. So Ravichandran Ashwin also can make a comeback. Jasprit and Shami not there, others are playing, Siraj is there. So there you see the health of Indian cricket, Rahul, is at its absolute best. And that is what gives us all heart. We would want to see two things, Rahul, this year. One, the World Test Championship win and the World Cup win. In the midst of COVID, when the country is suffering so much, this is one thing that will bring smiles on the faces of every Indian. So wanting another series win tonight.
Well, absolutely. Everybody wants that victory and seal the deal as far as Indian team is concerned. But you also, another hallmark of this Indian team, of course, we have a very, very good bench strength, as Boria also mentioned and as Virat also mentioned. But also another hallmark of this Indian team is its never give up attitude. We saw it in the T20 series. It seemed that the Indians were down and out, but they came back to win those last two T20s and win the series. Now in the last match, England were just motoring along, 134 for no loss after 14 overs. And what India does is that eventually they managed to win that match by 66 runs, which is quite a good margin. So that's another hallmark of this Indian team.
Well, it's been a brilliant series for Team India. You know, they have fought really well. They come from behind, and they showed the mettle. You know, they can win from many situations. You know, credit to Virat Kohli and the management, to all the individuals who played in the series and played their part to win the series. You know, it's been a wonderful series, and of course, this kind of a series win will boost everyone's confidence in the team. So, you know, it's a great thing. You know, Team India is on a winning streak, and I would like them to finish this series on a winning note today itself.